Hi, my name is Heaney, and I'm going to do my topic on MMO games promote addictive behaviour. I'm not going to make any sweeping statements like they are addictive, because it's a huge debate, but I personally believe that. So first of all, we'll have some definitions of addiction. So it's a primary chronic disease of brain reward, motivation, memory, and related circuitry. And it's characterised by inability to consistently abstain, impairment in behavioural control, craving, diminished recognition of significant problems with one's behaviours in interpersonal relationships, and dysfunctional emotional responses, a bit heavy. But basically, you are addicted to something, you want to do it, that's your primary goal. Everything else, whether it be health, hygiene, friends, it's not important. That single thing is what's important. But for games, I think what I'm going to focus on more is behaviour that is addictive, that you can show through games, and these are the main four. I myself have personally experienced all of these with World of Warcraft. So preoccupation, always thinking about the game all the time. In work, all I would do is think about how I'm going to beat the next raid boss. You know, down playing computer use, my family, girlfriend, how many hours to play? Just 4. You know, it was 8 or 12 a day. Lack of control, I couldn't stop myself. That was the thing. People who are addicted to something can't stop doing what they do. It's brain related, it's chemical. And lots of time. You look out the window, it's dark, you look back, you look out again, it's bright. It's just, you don't even realise the time go by. So when it comes to these games, what is it about them that is so interesting? Is it fun? They are fun. They have to be fun. You talk about the millions when it comes to people playing them. Many millions. World of Warcraft's been going for 10 years. 5 million people still pay to play the game. And when you talk about League of Legends or Dota, you're up in the tens of millions still. So there's no question that they're fun, but I think how they catch you, and I'm going to go that it's design and also unintended design, that it's desire. They play on your desires. So if you look at Stanford's Encyclopedia of Philosophy, they have a number of theories on desire. The one that I think really applies to games is pleasure-based desire. So desire is to be in a future state of mind. You desire something. When you achieve it, you get pleasure. It's a reward system in your brain. So when it comes to games, especially World of Warcraft and League of Legends, and obviously the derivatives are EverQuest, Dota, so you want to be the best player. You play the game, you want to be the best. You don't want to be second, you don't want to be 100, you want to be the best. And when it comes to games like EverQuest, World of Warcraft, EVE, you want the best armor, you want the best items, you want the best ships. And of course prestige. You want to walk around the capital cities of these games in the coolest armor, and they go, oh, how do you get that item? Oh my god, it's so cool, you know. So these desires, once achieved, give us pleasure, and these give us reward through dopamine in the brain's own reward system. And I read a really interesting article from a man called Joel Larsen. It's probably not how you pronounce it, but he has an article called Objects of Desire, which is a study of the reward system in World of Warcraft. And he talks about how fulfillment of desire yields to the acceptance of disinclination. So disinclination, you're hesitant about doing something, you don't really want to do it. But when it comes to fulfillment of the desire, for especially a game like World of Warcraft, you have to accept that you have to do things you don't want to do, and you're going to do them over and over again. So, epic items in World of Warcraft. I don't know if many people here are familiar with World of Warcraft or EverQuest or anything like that. So items come in a number of varieties. You have common, uncommon, rare, epic. I'm going to disregard legendary because it's not really bespoke, because no one has them. But epic items really are, they're a sign. You know, if you walk around in the best gear, people stop, they right click, they inspect your character and go, oh cool, I've done it hundreds of times. And they're only obtainable via raid. So this is where I think this is the start of how they promote the addictive behaviour. So raids are only open to max level players. I'm not worried about leveling. Leveling is a means to an end. This game really only opens up to people who are max level. That's where most of the content is placed. So I think a regular raid takes 2 to 4 hours to complete. If you're familiar with raids, it always takes longer. And if you've ever done anything for 4 hours or more, it has an effect on you. Of course, the problem then So Larson once again talks about infinite semiosis. So semiosis is deriving meaning from signs. And in this context, epic items are the signs. And so you achieve your item, but straight away, that desire, that pleasure you've gotten is lost. Because you have it. You don't desire the item anymore, you have it. But the developers of the game are clever. So what do? They release newer ones in newer raids. So you have to go and do them. And you don't always complete the raids because they're very difficult. I'll get to that in a second. So then you talk about League of Legends. There's no permanent items at all in League of Legends. It's quite the opposite. No one cares about items, at least from an outside of the game point of view. And then you have a ranking system once again, open to max level players, leveling up. I don't think leveling is anything got to do with addictive behaviour because that's the end, that's the goal. So in-game level resets every match. So a match lasts 30 to 40 minutes. It's really quick, it's over, done. But if anyone who's ever played a match of League of Legends, you can't play one because you made a mistake, or your teammate made a mistake, or they're terrible. So you play 10, you play 20. Before you know it, you're playing 5, 6, 7 every day. Because you need to be better, your team needs to be better, you need to play it together. And of course, there's hundreds of characters. You need to become a master at 1? No, because someone has banned that in a game. You need to be a master with 10. So that takes hundreds of hours. So I've come to this idea, this is my, well, I'm not going to say it's my own idea, but at least these are the two words I've put together that give the meaning that I want to put across. So recursive progression. So in terms of World of Warcraft, items drops are based on a random number generator. So you want the item, doesn't drop this raid, okay, maybe next raid. But you have to wait a week before the next raid. And it might take 6 or 7 hours to complete that raid. And then over time, okay, yes, I've got all the items. It took me 18 months, I'm finally fully geared. Here's an expansion. Your items are useless now because you have to level up and get to the new ones. And it's a cycle, and it's a cycle that's been going on for 10 years. And I mean, you can see it. And Larson himself, who was a vanilla World of Warcraft player who got all of the 8 epic items for his character in the raids, I think it took him 18 to 19 months. And then when he achieved them all, he was kind of lost. But then the Burning Crusade came out, and he had a reason again to get the newer ones. Walk around in the new coolest gear and have everyone in the game. And then League of Legends, of course, it's per skill. You know, every single match you play, you could have done better. Even if you have a perfect game, you know you could have done better, your team could have done better. And so over time, these things cause you to play more. They're promoting your behaviour to play the game more, which, in my opinion, resolves in addiction. Are my references? Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Addiction or obsession? What's the difference?
I think addiction is chemical. Obsession, I don't know if it's chemical or not. I have to look into it more, but I think if you're obsessed with something, it's not the same as being addicted to it, because you may not get your obsession, but you can always do something you're addicted to, because you're addicted to it.
Has it got something to do with the question of harm? Harming yourself, harming others?
I don't think it's a question of harm. It depends on what you look at when it comes to addiction. I think addiction can be a result of you wanting something too much and being able to freely get it. And it feels good to have it or do it, so you do it again and again and again. And if there's nothing there that will stop you, I mean, you know, people stop becoming heroin addicts because they die. But, or, you know, they spend years fighting it. But you can't really stop being a game addict. Oh, you can stop playing games, but does that solve the problem? I think so. I can't play World of Warcraft anymore. I know I can't. Because I just straight away back hooked.
Well, you can become quite philosophical about it. Like, you know, it's an interesting thing you said there about satiation. You know, leveling up. You want more. When you've conquered everything, then what?
That's the biggest question. Is because there's a loss there. There's a loss that when you've achieved all of your desires, and that's what I think is the hook that the developers themselves place, because they know they have psychologists. They know these things, so they're going to release just enough content for you to just about grasp all of that stuff, just as a new content is released.
Do you think certain people are innately liable to become hooked on a game, obsessive?
I think you can train anyone
Addicted.
to be addicted to anything, provided you find out how their reward system works. So if someone gets pleasure from completing the level in Mario, you give them 100 easy levels of Mario, and then slowly make it more difficult for them. Before they would know it, all they want to do is complete the next level of Mario.
With MMOs, often what's talked about as a big draw for MMOs is just the community and the fact that you have friends playing the game. Would that not have something to do with the addiction?
Maybe. Personally, no. I had no friends who played World of Warcraft. No friends who played League of
That
Legends.
doesn't even have to be like friends you know, just people that you play with. You might not know who they are in real life at all.
Well, that's a necessity when it comes to World of Warcraft, because you need to have another 15 or another 25, 24 people that are at equivalent skill level as you to beat the bosses to get the items that you want. So, regardless of whether you want to be friends with them or not, you have to.
You don't have to.
Well, you're not going to get the items because you're never going to
You
find
don't
them.
have to get the items though, it's
But
a
the
case
whole,
of you want
the
to.
whole point of raiding though is to get the gear so you can beat the next raid.
You want to, though, you don't have to.
But if you play the game enough, you have to.
It's all come down to vanity.
That's the point.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying, like, prestige, I've done it myself. I've been fully geared from the end raid. I walk around the capital city and you have all these low-level players jumping up to you going, oh, cool, where do you get that? And I'm like, yeah, I got raid.
Brilliant. Yeah.
What do you think about when the game stops becoming fun but players still play it?
Personally speaking, I've never ever felt that. World of Warcraft has always and will be the best game I've ever played. There is a psychological aspect where you can hook someone to something that they no longer like doing, but they still do it over and over again. I can't remember the name of the psychologist. It was in one of our PDFs. No, it wasn't PDF. It was on Cracked. This researcher from Microsoft who studied gameplay, and they figured out these, I can't remember now, I think it was 10 or 15 design mechanics to keep people playing regardless. The fun wasn't mentioned, enjoyment wasn't mentioned in this paper. It was just designed for people playing over and over again. So it is really evil, but it definitely does exist. But I think if you're promoting this kind of gameplay from games like World of Warcraft, I've never met someone who didn't like playing it, even at the very end of it. So I don't know if it applies to these kind of MMOs, but maybe it does to some games that you can't be addicted to, or at least,
I think they're more towards like competitive games and stuff like that, esports in general. It's just kind of like, eventually the players are like, oh, I don't care about this game anymore, it's not fun. I know everything about the game, I'm just trying to get better. It's not actually like I played Dota 2 and the last word I would describe Dota 2 is fun. And you can't play it with your friends because it's actually known as a game which is like quote as the destroyer of friendships. So you have to actually like, I don't know if that counts as like addiction or would it be obsession or.
Well, I think for me what I'm talking about addiction, or at least addictive behaviour, is you'll play the game for a lot longer than you intended to, and you won't realise that you're doing it over time. And
So flow.
sorry?
So flow.
Yeah, but like in the context of maybe you have a partner or you're living at home with your parents and they're concerned with you because from 6 o'clock to 1 o'clock you're inside playing the game, and yourself you don't realise it's a bad habit. So whether or not it's fun is, I can't answer that question. No one can answer that question really. But do you enjoy playing the game?
Well, it depends on what enjoyment is. It's like,
But you personally, you say you play Dota 2, but you don't,
Yeah.
like when you play it.
it's enjoyment but not fun enjoyment.
Yeah. But you're still satisfying your need or want to play it.
Yeah.
So I think, there's an argument there, but obviously if you were to play Dota 2 and then you forgot about college work because you're playing too much,
Yeah.
that's what we're concerned with here. That's what I'm concerned with here anyway.
Fascinating question. Really fascinating. Great.